What is going on, guys? Mario here, and let us continue with our cable. And let's see what other set of details we need to work on. So here we can increase the cable so that it's not so thin. And here we kind of have an issue going on. And this is mainly becoming because we have subdivision set here. So let's put that outside and let's come here and make subdivision as a parent from all of our sets, and then it kind of fixes the issue. So let's move on into this cylinder. And what I'd like to do here is let's just turn the spline wrap off. And what I'd like to do here is, let's say, select all of this. Now I can go and select manually or simply go to UL for my loop selection and kind of select these two loops. And then I can go into my rectangle selection and select the parts that I don't want to use. So let's say here and here, something that I don't want to use. And then I would like to do is create a new object from that with split. And what we can do here next is just do a small extrusion. So let's kind of extrude it like that. And what I'd like to do is maybe add a bit more edges here and here so that we have just enough edges. So if let's say I want to select random or more organized parts, let's say like that, and then if I push it out and when it subdivides, it can create somewhat interesting look. So let's gonna do that next. And I'm gonna select, let's say 4 and make some space in between, and again select 4. Or is that a 5? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have actually selection of 5. So let's do the same thing here. And maybe here. And actually I'm gonna select a bit more. And so now if I decide to push it outwards and subdivide, we get kind of this look. And if we go into a spline wrap, this is what we have. So let's now come here into our where we have, actually now is the time when we have when we need to use our backup, because I kind of spoke too soon. So let's put it here and increase the radius a bit, something like that. It's working a bit better. And now we can subdivide, actually make it editable. And let's see what kind of detail we can create there. Actually, we need to create a transition. So we can approach this in 2 ways. So we can either kind of split, let's say this loop, or not even a loop. We can just select, let's say a few parts like that. And then we can split that. And then we can go and maybe scale it up a bit. Select the boundary loop. Actually, I didn't want it like that. So we can also select it like this. So we can create a detail, let's say like that, that kind of fits perfect to this, what we have, this cable, or we can also reuse the part of this cylinder. So I'm just gonna come here and hide this for a sec. And the alternative would be that we come here And let's say select this part and split it. And then let's do a small extrusion. And then what we can do, let's say select this part or even this one. And push it outwards like that. And then create an entry point in this area. But then again, we need to do another version where this kind of fits better, because obviously it's not working so good. So let's use our backup one more time. And we'll need to go into point mode and kind of push it so it fits. And let's just increase the radius, something like 5, I believe, or even 4.5. Like that. And now we can come here and adjust like this. And so now here, what we can do is, now before I do extrude inner like that, what I would like to do is just add a supporting edge here and here, so that I use extrude inner only at this part until this area, and then extrude it inwards. So then when we subdivide, we have something like that. And then what we can do is maybe add another edge loop here, so that I can use, let's say, these two and just push it a bit up like that. So, and this is kind of the alternative way that we could have went instead of let's say this way. So let's now actually come here and make this cable editable. So luckily we have this backup still if we need it. So again, let's make it editable. I will delete these caps, go to sweep NURBS, and let's see what can we create here. And here what I like to do is select this point, and I will use extrude inner, and then I will extrude inner and then scale out. So when it subdivides, that I have kind of this small transition in this area, and we can do it maybe a few more times here. So let's do extrude inner, and also maybe we can do extrude outwards. And now we cannot scale as we could have before, simply because you will notice it will go in a different direction. So if you do that, you'll need to make sure that you reposition. And as an alternative, what you can do is do extrusion like that. And then we can select outer edges. So let's come here and let's come here, and then we'll do a bevel without subdivisions. And this kind of gets us close to what we originally wanted. And then we can simply add supporting edge here and supporting edge here. So when it's subdivided, we have something like that. And maybe let's come in the middle and maybe select this middle point. And again, just make sure that nothing else is selected. So I'm gonna use again split, and what I'm gonna use again is small extrude, and let's add a few more edges here and here, and we can maybe simply push this out a bit. But maybe we're missing a bit more edges, so let's come and add one more here and here. So the reason for that is simply because now when I choose to push this outwards, that it simply has this supportive edge on the side, and then it looks like it has actually transition in between and not going directly from the edge. So this is something very minor, but it kind of works. And let's go here to the end, and we can do it maybe the other way around. So let's say here, that we select this part, and here these parts. Again, we can split, select all, extrude, and then extrude inner. And from this extrude inner, maybe we can do actually one more small, like that. It's going to be a very minor detail, but it could work. So let's see what else we can do here. And let's go to our main cylinder and let's add, let's say, like a line that goes here in the middle. Like that. And maybe we can do the same thing on the other side. So let's see, it kind of goes from here up. And yeah, it goes through here. So now what we can do is again extrude inner once, twice, and actually now before we do that, let's put it a bit down because now I kind of got an idea of something else. And let's put it from here, let's say, and leave a bit more space because we're gonna do something different. So here, let's do it like that. So let's do once, twice extrude inner, and then let's just put it extrude. So when it's subdivided, we have something like that. But here up, let's do the reverse. So we can come and let's say select this part. And let's do extrude inner one more time. And then we can select this loop here and this loop here, and then do extrusion like this. And I think it's a bit too much, so let's kind of tone it down so that it's something like this, a bit smaller. And here and here, something like that, so that we have here on the other side we can select. So that we have kind of inverted look. So here is inwards and there is outwards. And just to finalize this shape, what we can do is select the edges. So let's select this edge, this one here, and this one here as well. And let's do a small bevel, something like that. And there we are. And so let's come here at the very end, and what we can do is something similar that we did before. So I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna use extrude, and I'm gonna use T for scale just to scale it down a bit, and then select this area and make sure I'm in axis mode and scale that up. Actually, yeah, we can scale that up. So here what we're doing basically are we just experimenting with the shape, seeing what's working or not. And this is kind of basic practice of very basic tool set, and just see how far we can go with that. And it's a very simple exercise. So let's continue working on that. And also here, maybe we can add a few extra edge loops, just so we can, let's say, use this area and create, let's say, sort of a circle or something in the middle. So before we do that, let's just create extrude inner. And actually we don't need that much edges, so let's remove some. So this one can go, and this one we can actually move in the middle, or even we can remove that one and reposition exactly in the middle like that. And then we can come back and do extrude inner, go and select our points, this one, and create our circle using the script. So the problem here that we'll probably have is that it's going to look like that, so it's not going to be aligned properly. So we need to do some manual work. So let's just rotate and bring it back. Like that, and we'll need to push these in like this. And now we can go and extrude once, twice, push in just to break that surface, and I'll do a small extrusion, and then we can just add a few cuts here and here just to break that surface. And let's add another edge loop here. And also sometimes what I like to do is just select, let's say, this part, or then also this part, and we can kind of push it outwards just to create this little surface distortion, something like that. And let's do here the same that we did before. So I'm going to select this loop and add the bevel and make sure that I have 2 subdivisions, and we're going to do extrude inner, same as we did and top, like this, and there we are. Maybe I can do even one more. Like that. And what we can do maybe here is add extra edge loop so that we can push this loop outwards. So this loop we're gonna kind of scale up, and this edge loop that we just added will allow us that we have this smoother transition. So there we are. And if I would now come here to my spline wrap, this is the cable that we get. So this is kind of again the basic practice of our Kitbash set, and something that we can later reuse. So for example, I'll just turn the subdivision off so it's easier to move. We have now our spline. We can go into point mode and select any of the points here. So this should be visible. And if I decide to move, I can now reposition. That goes, let's say, like that. And also I can go into spline wrap. I can go into rotation and add a bit of rotation to that. Turn subdivision on. And then we have interesting looking shape. And this now we can reuse. We have some stretching, although here. So again, we need to kind of make sure that we don't overstep that boundary. But let's say this will kind of work. So I'll just bring it back. And there we are. So this kind of concludes this tutorial for this time. I hope you find it useful enough. And if you have any further questions regarding this tutorial, feel free to leave a comment in the section below and I'll try to answer them all if I can. And thank you for watching and see you next time.